What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video is entitled Thoughts on Dirty Money on Netflix. So I was watching the series Dirty Money. I watched the first 3 episodes. And first episode was about Volkswagen and diesel cars and them having trick emissions, them scamming the past emissions test. The second was about, I forgot the guy's name, but he had one of those payday loan companies, and he wound up being a race car driver, and he wound up getting like $1 billion suit against him that he lost, so he owes $1 billion because of the payday loan company. And the third one was pharmaceuticals, how, people pay their insurance and their premiums, and they pay for prescriptions, and then some prescriptions just shoot up, and now you got to pay a certain price or got to pay out of pocket just so people could, price gouge, basically. Now, the reason I'm doing these things together is because there was a theme to me in all of this stuff. The vast majority of these people on this Dirty Money series I've seen so far were all white. Okay? And because they were white, other white people and other groups of non-white people kept giving them a pass even if they were scam artists. Because they just, you got to be, they wouldn't do anything like that. They're not those type of people. They would kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. And that created a bigger problem in the end. Like even the things with Volkswagen, right? I didn't know to the series that actually Volkswagen was pretty much started off the money of the Nazi part of Nazis, Hitler and the Nazis. Porsche designed the car, and then it made sense when I saw the Beetle and then looked at a Porsche. It was like, the Volkswagen is the low end, the Porsche is the high end, right? Because of the shape of the car. But if a car company is rooted in Nazis, has its root not in decades later, you still don't look at them as this could be kind of scammy issue. Now the thing about it wasn't necessarily the company and the Nazis, so I'm just making that point. But what I learned was it was about diesel engines and how they had these little trick switch that if you're going to pass your emissions test, you're gonna pretty much always pass it because the emissions are gonna be low. And there was a company who was like, man, we need to research this because this is great. This is great. Like, how did they get these diesel engines to have such low emissions when they were known notoriously for having high emissions problems? And they came up on weight. When we test it standing still, it's low. When we test it on the road, it's astronomically high. Like, is something missing? And then they would take the information and research, and they would take it back to Volkswagen and be like, hey, something's up. And Volkswagen will stall them out. Maybe it's something you're doing. Blah, blah, blah. So, over a year goes by. And they're like, nah, something wrong. But the something wrong with it is I don't want to go against this big company and say something that I don't know. Then another company did it. Same issue. Like, okay. So there's one company did it in the US and another company did it in the UK. And the issue was the emissions were so high, they're dangerous, right? Now, it's not just Volkswagen, because after they tested the Volkswagen, they had this little thing with Volkswagen, Benz, BMW, Audi, because these, German companies or whatever. So they all diesel. They all had this kind of I guess trick switch or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Where you pass the emission test, but on the road, it's very hazardous to the environment and to the people around. Same thing with the guy that was the payday loan company guy. The whole business, he set up a legal payday loan business first and foremost. But part of the business was he set it up in a way where it was supposed to use like Indian reservations. So kind of like a minority contract type of thing. So the white guy gets the Indian reservations, gets under the Indian reservations, or a couple of Indian reservations, and guess what? Now he's off and running with less oversight than other companies who are not trying to do that. So you think he's supposed to split the profit with the tribes? So basically, he keeps 99% and gives them 1%, while using them to make money, right? And some of the people that work at the company, like something's off. They start, asking questions, and it's shady. And so him and his brother, I think, and his mother, his wife, are pretty much just balling out on the excess money from the business. Now, pretty much everything he did in the business was legal, but the business is shoddy in itself. Payday loans, to the point where they were taking people's money out of their bank accounts even after they paid them. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But it was like, wait, people will pay off, they pay their loan. And that's the thing about payday loans. For any of y'all that don't know, the interest is like super high, ridiculous. So if you borrow $1,000 Monday, you better give them $1,100 on Tuesday to be square. And if you can't, it's gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And it's not like paying on a credit card. The balance goes up way faster than that, right? So basically, they got you hooked in this cycle of suffrage. But the guy decided he wanted to be a race car driver. That's what he took some of his profits to do, to be a race car driver. And I guess he went so far with it, he became a good race car driver, but he went so far with the company that the government stepped in, and the company got sued for $1 billion. So now the man with the payday loan company owes the government payday loan type money with interest. So now they seizing all his assets, can't do this, can't do that. But the thing that was odd was because he was super rich. He was still able to live this in this great house, great this, great that, cars, whatever. And wife is still looking fabulous or whatever, still in the mansion. And it's like they seized all our assets, but they didn't put you out on the street because you still living in look like a 7,000 to 10,000 square foot mansion. So obviously they ain't seized everything. I think and they were mad that the cops raided their house and all the feds raided their house. And it's like, you got back what you put out into the world. Now the third one, what was, and I'm gonna keep it shorter now, was prescription drugs. And I remember one of the guys who got busted on the news for that a few years back, where you buy a prescription or buy the rights to a prescription and you shoot the price up. So you had this family that was paying like a couple of bucks, a pill, or 10, 20 cents a pill. Now they got to pay $200 a pill. And if the lady his wife doesn't get the pill, she's going to die. And so you gouge these people in a situation where if you don't get this medicine, death is imminent. So now you force them, buying $20,000 bottles of medicine that was maybe $200 at the most, which was disgusting. But once again, to a degree, You let people get away with murder because, so many families got affected and people did this and that. But nobody's going to rectify the debt you put these people in. Nobody's going to necessarily pay them back. They just people on a documentary. And this is what happens when you see people dealing with medications in a pharmaceutical industry when you wind up being a guinea pig to these companies. If the budget comes short on this product, let's gouge this one real quick. Let's gouge that one real quick. We're going to get back to these profits. And once again, people don't look at it that way because you're there's white people doing it, so they got this long leash. Same thing with the payday loan guy, just long leash of criminality or criminal mindset or criminal behavior. And you would think that, these people got caught, but you would think that if they weren't white, it wouldn't have took this long. It wouldn't have. Because people just letting criminality slide as long as you make millions and billions of dollars, right? So that's just my thoughts on that. I ain't check out the rest, but I will later on. Peace. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one.